Imagine a world where the air hums with primal energy, where fog clings to ancient forests like a lover's whisper, and the howls of wolves carry secrets older than the stars. This is the wilderness of the werewolf clans, a sprawling, untamed expanse dotted with hidden territories and guarded by rituals as unyielding as the rocky cliffs that pierce the sky. Here, power is the currency of survival. Bloodlines are sacred, and betrayal lurks in every shadow. Welcome to a land where the moon is both a guide and a judge, and the fight for freedom is written in blood. At the heart of this world stands the Iron Fang stronghold, a fortress carved into a jagged cliff, its spires clawing at the heavens. Its walls, etched with ancestral totems of snarling wolves, glow faintly under torchlight, a testament to the pack's dominance. The Iron Fang pack rules with an iron grip, their society built on a brutal hierarchy where pureblood werewolves reign supreme. To them, blood is destiny. Your lineage determines your worth, your place, your very right to exist. Step out of line, show weakness, and you're cast out, or worse. This is a place where loyalty is demanded and defiance is crushed beneath the weight of tradition. In the shadows of this unforgiving stronghold lives Elara Veyne, a young woman who walks a razor's edge. Half human, half werewolf, she's an outcast hiding in plain sight, her secret guarded by a rune tattoo etched into her wrist. The tattoo, a swirling mark that pulses faintly with arcane energy, masks the scent of her human blood, allowing her to blend among the purebloods. To the pack, she's just another face in the crowd, timid, unremarkable, invisible. But Elara is anything but ordinary. Beneath her quiet exterior burns a longing, a desperate need to belong in a world that would reject her if it knew the truth. Every day she navigates the stronghold's cold corridors, her head bowed, her steps silent, avoiding the piercing gazes of those who would smell her difference if not for the rune's protection. Elara's life is a delicate balance, a constant performance of submission to survive. She moves through the pack's rituals with practiced care, her heart pounding as she mimics the behaviors of those born to this world. The other werewolves, with their sharp senses and sharper ambitions, see her as beneath notice, a nobody, a shadow. But in her quiet moments, alone in her sparse quarters, Elara dreams of something more. She dreams of a place where she doesn't have to hide, where her blood isn't a curse. She clings to a small, weathered runestone pendant, a gift from her mother, its surface carved with symbols she doesn't fully understand. It's her only connection to a past she barely knows, a past her mother kept hidden before vanishing into the stronghold's secrets. The Iron Fang Pack is not just a community, it's a machine of power, oiled by fear and driven by ambition. At its helm are leaders who see the world as a battlefield, where rival clans must be subdued and unique traits, rare gifts like Elara's, must be controlled. They call it Project Dominance, a shadowy plan whispered about in the stronghold's highest chambers. It's a scheme to harness the rarest werewolf abilities to forge an unstoppable force that will crush all opposition and cement Iron Fang's rule over the wilderness. The pack's alpha, a towering figure whose presence silences rooms, drives this vision with ruthless precision. But it's his son, Torin Varkas, who breathes life into its darkest ambitions. Torin Varkas is the golden heir of the Iron Fang, a werewolf whose charisma is as sharp as his claws. Tall, with eyes that burn like embers and a smile that promises both charm and danger, he embodies the pack's relentless drive for supremacy. To him, the world is a game of conquest, and he plays it with cunning. He's the kind of leader who can rally a crowd with a single word, but his heart is cold, calculating. Project Dominance is his obsession, a legacy he intends to perfect by exploiting any werewolf with a gift that could tip the balance of power. And lately, his gaze has begun to linger on Elara, though she doesn't know why yet. To him, she's not a person, but a puzzle, a tool waiting to be claimed for his grand design. Elara's mother, a figure shrouded in mystery, was once part of the Starclaw Pack, a clan destroyed by Iron Fang and their allies for daring to embrace inclusivity. She survived by hiding among the Iron Fang, passing as one of them, just as Elara does now. Before she disappeared, she gave Elara the runestone pendant, whispering words of warning and hope. "Keep it close," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. "It will guide you when the time comes." Elara doesn't know what those words mean, but the pendant is her lifeline, a tangible link to a mother she barely remembers and a heritage she's only beginning to unravel. Sometimes when the stronghold is quiet, she holds the stone and feels it pulse, as if it carries a secret waiting to be unlocked. But secrets are dangerous in a world of predators. The Iron Fang's rituals are sacred, unbreakable, woven into the fabric of their society. They mark the cycles of the moon, the bonds of the pack, the forging of alliances through blood and ceremony. Tonight, the stronghold prepares for a mating ritual, a grand event where allegiances are solidified and power is displayed. For Elara, it's a night of dread. She's been chosen to participate, not as a prized member, but as a formality, a low-ranking wolf expected to bow to the will of the pack. The ritual chamber, lit by flickering torches, hums with anticipation. The air is thick with the scent of fur and fire, and the pack's chants echo like a heartbeat. Torin will be there, standing at the center of the ceremony, his presence commanding. He sees the ritual as a chance to tighten his grip on the pack, to advance project dominance by binding key members to his will. And Elara, though she doesn't know it, is in his sights. Her Harmonizer Gene, a rare trait buried in her hybrid blood, could amplify the strength and unity of any pack she serves. It's a power the Iron Fang would kill to control, a power that could make Torin unstoppable. He doesn't know the full extent of her gift, but he senses something in her, something that makes his predator's instincts hum with anticipation. As the hour of the ritual approaches, Elara stands in her quarters, her fingers tracing the runestone pendant. It feels heavier tonight, as if it knows what's coming. Her tattoo itches, a reminder of the lie she lives. She spent years hiding, blending, surviving. But tonight, under the blood-red moon, her carefully built disguise will be tested. The stronghold's totems loom outside her window, their carved eyes seeming to watch her. She feels the weight of the pack's expectations, the crushing pressure of a world that values strength above all else. And somewhere, deep within her, a spark of defiance flickers, a spark that could ignite a rebellion. This is a world where true strength is measured by domination, where the strong prey on the weak, and the weak learn to hide or perish. But Elara Veyne, outcast, hybrid, harmonizer, is about to discover a different kind of strength. Not the kind that crushes others, but the kind that lifts them up, that unites the broken and forges a new path. Tonight, the ritual will set her on a collision course with Torin and the Iron Fang's ambitions. Tonight, her secret will begin to unravel, and the wilderness will tremble with the echoes of her choice. A storm is brewing in the fog-shrouded forests. The clans are restless. The moon is watching, and Elara Veyne, the hidden outcast, stands at the edge of destiny. Will she rise to unite those cast aside, or will she fall to the claws of those who hunt her? Welcome to the wilderness. Welcome to the fight. The Iron Fang stronghold looms under a blood-red moon, its jagged spires cutting through the fog like the teeth of a slumbering beast. Inside, the air is thick with the scent of burning herbs and the low, rhythmic chants of the werewolf pack, gathered for a sacred mating ritual. The chamber, carved deep into the cliff, pulses with primal energy. Torchlight dances on the walls, casting shadows that twist like specters across the ancestral totems. Snarling wolves frozen in stone, their eyes seeming to judge every soul in the room. This is a night of power, of allegiance, of unbreakable bonds forged in the name of the Iron Fang pack. But for Elara Veyne, it's a night of dread, a night that could shatter the fragile disguise she's worn for years. Elara stands at the edge of the ritual chamber, her heart pounding like a war drum. Her rune tattoo, hidden beneath a long sleeve, itches fiercely, as if warning her of the danger closing in. Half human, half werewolf, she's an outcast who survived by blending into the pack's rigid hierarchy, her human blood masked by the arcane mark that cloaks her scent. To the purebloods around her, she's nothing, a timid, low-ranking wolf, barely worth a glance. But tonight, she's been summoned to the ritual, a formality meant to reinforce the pack's order. She clutches her mother's runestone pendant tucked beneath her shirt, its faint pulse a reminder of the secrets she carries. The pendant, carved with symbols of the fallen Starclaw pack, is her only link to a heritage she doesn't understand, a heritage that could be her salvation or her doom. The chamber hums with anticipation as the pack's elite gather, their ceremonial furs adorned with bones and beads that clink softly with every movement. At the center stands Torin Varkas, the alpha heir, his presence commanding the room like a storm about to break. His eyes, sharp and predatory, gleam with ambition, his smile a blade wrapped in charm. Torin is the Iron Fang's golden son, the driving force behind Project Dominance, a clandestine plan to harness rare werewolf traits and crush rival clans. Tonight, he sees the ritual as more than tradition. It's a chance to tighten his grip on the pack, to bind its members to his will, and to claim a prize he's only beginning to suspect, Elara and the hidden power within her. Elara's stomach twists as she's pushed forward by the crowd, her name called in the ritual's opening chant. The pack's eyes are on her now, and she feels exposed, as if her tattoo could fail at any moment, letting her human scent spill out like blood in the water. She's not here to be honored or chosen as a mate for a high-ranking wolf. She's here to play her part, to bow her head and prove her loyalty. But Torin's gaze lingers on her, intense and calculating, and she senses something more than ceremony in his stare. He knows something, or suspects it. Her fingers tighten around the runestone pendant, its warmth grounding her even as her fear spikes. She doesn't know it yet, but the pendant is tied to her Harmonizer Gene, a rare trait that can amplify the strength and unity of any pack. And Torin, driven by whispers of such gifts, intends to bind her not just to the pack, but to him, to exploit her power for his conquest. The ritual begins with a howl that shakes the chamber, a chorus of voices rising to the moon. The pack's alpha, Torin's father, steps forward, his voice booming as he invokes the ancient rites. "Tonight, we bind our strength, our blood, our future," he declares, his eyes sweeping the crowd. "The Iron Fang will rise, and those who serve will be forged anew." Torin raises a ritual blade, its edge catching the firelight, and begins the binding, a ceremonial act where chosen wolves pledge their loyalty, their strength tethered to the pack's will. One by one, wolves step forward, offering their wrists for the blade's shallow cut, a mark of submission. Elara's turn is coming, and her pulse races. She's done this before, played the role, but tonight feels different. Tonight the air feels charged, like the moment before a lightning strike. As she steps into the circle, the chants grow louder, the pack's energy pressing against her like a physical force. Torin approaches, his movements deliberate, his smile too knowing. "Elara Veyne, a wolf of no name, yet here you stand. Let's see what you're made of." The words send a chill through her. He holds the blade over her wrist, his eyes locked on hers, searching for something. She tries to stay calm, to keep her scent steady, but the runestone pendant grows hot against her chest, as if reacting to the ritual's power. She doesn't know it yet, but the pendant is tied to her Harmonizer Gene, a rare trait that can amplify the strength and unity of any pack. And Torin, driven by whispers of such gifts, intends to bind her not just to the pack, but to him, to exploit her power for his conquest. The blade touches her skin, and the world shifts. A surge of energy, raw and uncontrollable, erupts from within her. The runestone blazes, its glow seeping through her shirt, and a wave of power ripples through the chamber. The pack's chants falter, wolves staggering as their senses are overwhelmed. Torin's eyes widen, not with fear, but with hunger. He knows what this means. Elara's Harmonizer Gene, dormant until now, has awakened, its force exposing her hybrid nature. Gasps ripple through the crowd, and the alpha's voice roars, "What is this?"
Elara's tattoo burns, its magic faltering under the gene's surge, and her human scent, her secret, begins to leak through. She's no longer invisible, she's a threat. Panic seizes her. The pack's eyes turn predatory, their growls filling the air. Torin steps closer, his blade forgotten, his voice a low snarl. "You're mine now." But it's not a promise, it's a claim. Elara's instincts scream to run. She tears herself from the circle, shoving through the stunned crowd, her pendant glowing like a beacon. The stronghold's corridors blur as she sprints, her breath ragged, the howls of pursuit echoing behind her. She doesn't know where she's going, only that she can't stay. The tattoo, her shield for so long, is failing, and the pack will hunt her down if they catch her scent. Outside, the wilderness swallows her. The fog is thick, the forest a maze of shadows and snapping branches. Elara clutches the runestone, its warmth both a comfort and a curse. It's a link to her mother's legacy, but it's also a signal, betraying her to those who know how to track it. She stumbles through the underbrush, her heart torn between fear and a strange new defiance. The Harmonizer Gene, now awake, hums in her veins, a power she doesn't understand but feels like a call to something greater. She's no longer just an outcast hiding in the shadows. She's a spark, a threat to the Iron Fang's order, and they'll tear the wilderness apart to find her. Behind her, the stronghold erupts into chaos. Torin rallies his hunters, his voice cutting through the night. "Find her," he commands, his ambition burning brighter than ever. He sees Elara's power not as a danger, but as the key to Project Dominance, a weapon to dominate rival clans. The Alpha, his father, watches with cold approval, but there's unease in his eyes. Elara's disruption has shaken the pack's unity, and rival clans may hear of this. The hunt is on, and the wilderness is no safe haven. Elara runs, her breath fogging in the cold air, her mother's pendant swinging against her chest. The forest seems alive, its whispers urging her forward. She doesn't know where she's headed, maybe to the abandoned hunting lodge she's heard of, a crumbling shelter in the wild. But one thing is clear, the life she knew is gone. The Iron Fang will never let her go, not now that her power is exposed. Yet, in her fear, there's a flicker of resolve. The Harmonizer Gene, the runestone, her mother's hidden past, they're pieces of a puzzle she must solve. The wilderness is vast, dangerous, and unforgiving, but it's also a place of freedom, where the rules of the stronghold don't hold sway. Elara Veyne, outcast and hunted, is running toward a destiny she can't yet see, a destiny that could unite the broken or bury her beneath the claws of those who hunt her. The moon watches, silent and unyielding, as the wilderness braces for the storm to come.
The wilderness stretches endlessly before Elara Veyne, a labyrinth of fog and shadow, where ancient trees loom like sentinels under a sky bruised with storm clouds. The air is sharp with the scent of pine and damp earth, and every snap of a twig underfoot feels like a betrayal, echoing through the misty ravine she's fled into. Her breath comes in ragged gasps, her runestone tattoo burning where it struggles to mask her human scent, now frayed by the awakening of her Harmonizer Gene. The runestone pendant, her mother's last gift, swings heavily against her chest, its faint glow a beacon in the dark, a comfort, but also a curse, pulsing with secrets that could draw her hunters closer. The Iron Fang pack is out there, their howls cutting through the night, relentless in their pursuit of the outcast who disrupted their sacred ritual and exposed a power they crave to control. Elara stumbles through the underbrush, her legs aching, her mind a storm of fear and defiance. The stronghold, with its cold totems and oppressive chants, feels like a lifetime ago, though only hours have passed since she fled. The mating ritual, meant to bind her to Torin Varkis's will, unraveled when her Harmonizer Gene surged, revealing her hybrid nature to the pack. Now she's a fugitive, marked by her own blood, a half-human, half-werewolf whose very existence threatens the Iron Fang's rigid hierarchy. She doesn't understand the power coursing through her, this gift that can amplify a pack's strength and unity, but she feels its weight,
like a fire kindling in her veins. The wilderness, vast and untamed, is her only refuge, but it's no sanctuary. Every shadow could hide a hunter. Every gust of wind could carry her scent to Torrance pack. She finds temporary shelter in an abandoned hunting lodge, its rotting beams sagging under the weight of years. The lodge is a relic, its windows shattered, its walls scarred by claw marks, a forgotten outpost in the wild. Elara crouches inside, her back against a splintered door, clutching the runestone as she tries to steady her breathing. The runestone's warmth is a faint reassurance, but its glow feels like a spotlight in the dark. She knows the Ironfang's scouts are closing in, their senses honed to track even the faintest trace of her. Her tattoo, once her shield, is faltering, and her human scent, sharp, unmistakable, leaks through. She's never felt so exposed, so alone. Yet deep within, that spark of defiance grows, whispering that she's more than a prey animal running from the pack. The Harmonizer Gene, her mother's legacy, is a call to something greater, something she's only beginning to grasp. The night deepens and the fog thickens, wrapping the ravine in a ghostly shroud. Elara's ears catch a new sound, not the distant howls of Ironfang hunters, but something closer, deliberate. Footsteps, soft but steady, crunching through the underbrush. Her heart leaps and she grips a rusted knife she found in the lodge, its blade dull but better than nothing. The door creaks as a figure steps into view, silhouetted against the moonlight. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes that gleam like a wolf in the dark. His scent is wild, untamed, not Ironfang, but something else, something rogue. This is Rorick Draven, the last survivor of the Starclaw Pack, a clan destroyed by the Ironfang and their allies for daring to embrace inclusivity over bloodline purity. Rorick's presence is like a storm breaking, dangerous, unpredictable, yet strangely magnetic. His leather jacket is worn, patched with scars as old as his grudge against the Ironfang. A motorcycle, its chrome glinting faintly in the moonlight, rests nearby, a symbol of his freedom and agility in this unforgiving wilderness. He's a lone wolf, hardened by loss, driven by a singular mission to rebuild his pack's legacy. But there's a weariness in his eyes, a weight of years spent running, fighting, surviving. He studies Elara, his gaze sharp, sniffing the air. "You're no pure blood," he says, his voice low, rough like gravel. "And that scent, you're the one they're hunting." He steps closer, noticing the runestone's glow, and his eyes narrow. "Starclaw," he mumbles, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. Elara tenses, her knife raised, but Rorick doesn't attack. Instead, he lowers his hands, palms open, a gesture of truce. "I'm not with them. I'm Rorick Draven, last of the Starclaw Pack, and you're something they didn't expect." He senses the power in her, the faint ripple of the Harmonizer Gene that disrupted the Ironfang's ritual. He knows the runestone too, a relic of their own pack, tied to their lost ideals of unity and equality. For Rorick, Elara is a spark of hope, a chance to challenge the Ironfang's tyranny and restore what was taken from him. But trust doesn't come easily to a rogue who survived alone for so long. His instincts scream to keep moving, to stay solitary. Yet something about Elara, the defiance in her eyes, the pulse of her pendant, stirs a long-buried belief in something greater. They talk, haltingly at first, in the dim shelter of the lodge. Rorick shares fragments of his story, the Starclaw Pack's fall, betrayed by allies who bowed to Ironfang's power. He speaks of their vision, a world where bloodlines didn't divide, where strength came from unity, not domination. Elara listens, her fear giving way to curiosity. The runestone, he tells her, is more than a trinket. It's a key to the Starclaw's resistance, a beacon of their lost cause. Her mother, he suspects, was part of that fight, hiding among the Ironfang to protect Elara's secret. The revelation shakes her, deepening her internal struggle. She spent her life hiding, fearing her power, but now it's not just her survival at stake. It's a legacy she never knew she carried. Rorik proposes a partnership, tentative and fraught with mistrust. The Iron Fang won't stop hunting you, he says. But your power, it could change things. It could unite those they've cast out. He speaks of Rogue Hollow, a ramshackle camp in a nearby ravine, home to outcast werewolves and hybrids who've rejected the clan's hierarchies. It's a place of chaos, but also potential, a hub where Elara's Harmonizer Gene could spark a new kind of pack. Elara hesitates, her fear of being a target warring with the spark of purpose Rorik's words ignite. She's never led, never fought, only survived. But the wilderness, with its lawless freedom, feels like a place where she could become something more. As dawn breaks, the howls of Iron Fang scouts grow closer, their pursuit relentless. Rorik's motorcycle roars to life, a symbol of his ability to navigate the wild, to outrun those who hunt him. "Come with me," he says, offering her a choice: stay and hide, or ride toward Rogue Hollow and face the fight. Elara's hand closes around the runestone, its glow steady now, as if urging her forward. Her internal conflict rages, the safety of solitude versus the risk of trust. But the wilderness is no place for a lone wolf, and the Harmonizer Gene hums with a promise she can't ignore. She climbs onto the motorcycle, the engines roar, drowning out the howls behind them. They speed through the misty ravine, the fog swallowing their trail. Rogue Hollow lies ahead, a place of outcasts and dreamers, where Elara's power could spark a rebellion. Rorik, the lone wolf, feels the stirrings of something he thought lost: hope, born from a partnership he never expected. For Elara, the wilderness is no longer just a place to hide, it's a battleground where she'll learn what her power truly means. The Iron Fang's hunters are closing in, and Tauren's ambition burns brighter than ever. The moon watches, its light cutting through the fog, as two outcasts ride toward a destiny that could either unite the broken or bury them in the wild.
The wilderness wraps around Elara Veyne and Rorik Draven like a living thing, its fog-heavy air swallowing the roar of Rorik's motorcycle as they speed through the misty ravine. The night is alive with whispers, rustling leaves, distant wolf howls, the hum of secrets buried in the earth. Elara clings to Rorik's back, her fingers tight on his leather jacket, the runestone pendant against her chest pulsing like a second heartbeat. Her rune tattoo, once a shield for her half-human scent, stings with every mile, its magic strained by the Harmonizer Gene awakened during the Iron Fang's disrupted ritual. They're fugitives now, hunted by Tauren Varkas and his pack, who seek Elara's power to fuel their Project Dominance, a scheme to dominate rival clans by exploiting rare traits like hers. The wilderness, vast and lawless, offers no promises, only the fleeting hope of sanctuary. They find it, for now, in a decrepit roadhouse, a crumbling relic tucked in a forgotten corner of the forest. Its sagging roof leaks moonlight, and its walls, patched with moss and rot, groan under the weight of years. Inside, the air is stale, thick with the scent of mildew and abandoned dreams. Elara steps off the motorcycle, her legs unsteady, her mind a tangle of fear and resolve. The roadhouse is a far cry from the Iron Fang stronghold's cold grandeur, but its raw, broken state feels oddly fitting, a mirror to her own fractured existence. Rorik scans the shadows, his wolf-sharp senses alert for any sign of pursuit. "We're safe for now," he says, his voice rough but steady, but not for long. Iron Fang's scouts are relentless. His motorcycle, parked in the corner, gleams faintly, a symbol of the freedom that keeps them one step ahead. Elara sinks to the floor, her back against a splintered wall, and pulls the runestone pendant from beneath her shirt. Its carved symbols, swirls and claws of the Starclaw pack, glow softly, as if alive. Rorik watches, his eyes narrowing, as the last survivor of the Starclaw, destroyed for their inclusive ideals, he recognizes the pendant's significance.
Your mother. She was one of us, a resistor. That stone, it's more than a keepsake. Elara's heart clenches. Her mother, a shadowy figure who hid among the Iron Fang to protect her, left her this pendant with whispered warnings she never fully understood. Now, hunted and exposed, Elara feels the weight of that legacy pressing down on her. She closes her eyes and grips the runestone, willing it to reveal its secrets. The pendant grows warm, its glow intensifying, and a vision flashes through her mind, a memory not her own. She sees her mother, face lined with determination, standing in a cave lit by flickering torches, speaking of pack harmonization to a circle of star-claw wolves. The vision shows her mother hiding the runestone, her voice urgent. For the one who will unite us. Elara gasps, the vision fading, but the truth burns clear. Her Harmonizer Gene, the power that disrupted the Iron Fang's ritual, can amplify the strength and coordination of allied werewolves. Her mother wasn't just a survivor, she was part of a resistance, fighting the Iron Fang's bloodline elitism. The runestone, a beacon of that fight, has chosen Elara to carry it forward. The revelation shakes her. All her life, she's hidden her half-human blood, fearing her difference would make her a target. Now she learns she's a harmonizer, a bridge between wolves, a unifier. The power terrifies her. It's why Torin hunts her, why the Iron Fang wants to bind her to their will. But it also sparks something new. Confidence. Fragile, but growing. She looks at Rorik, who nods, his own resolve hardening. Your mother's fight isn't over, but to finish it, we need proof. Records of what the Starclaw knew, what the Iron Fang's hiding. He speaks of the Archive Den, a concealed cave system housing the pack's ancient records and digital servers, guarded by traps and sentinels. It's a dangerous target, but it holds answers about Elara's heritage and Project Dominance's true scope. They move at dusk, the wilderness cloaking their approach to the Archive Den's outer edges. The cave mouth yawns in a rocky outcrop, its entrance hidden by vines and guarded by motion sensors. Rorik's agility, honed by years as a rogue, guides them past the first traps, pressure plates disguised as stones, tripwires glinting in the moonlight. Elara follows, her senses heightened by the Harmonizer Gene, which hums softly, as if attuning to Rorik's presence. Inside, the cave is a labyrinth of damp stone and flickering screens, the air heavy with the scent of earth and metal. They find a terminal, its screen displaying fragments of Starclaw records. Elara's fingers tremble as she scrolls, uncovering a file labeled Harmonization. It confirms her mother's role in a resistance movement, documenting the Harmonizer Gene as a threat to the Iron Fang's hierarchy, a power that could unite outcasts against their rule. As they dig deeper, a shadow moves in the cave's depths. A scarred werewolf, broad and grisly, steps into view, his eyes wary but not hostile. This is Gorham, a rogue who's made the wilderness his home, surviving on the fringes of clan territories. You're the one they're hunting, he growls, sniffing Elara's faltering scent. Rorik bristles, ready to fight, but Elara, acting on instinct, lets her Harmonizer Gene pulse, a subtle wave that calms the air, boosting Gorham's senses just enough to earn his curiosity. "What are you?" he asks, lowering his guard. Elara explains, haltingly, her power and her mother's legacy. Gorham, a loner scarred by the Iron Fang's cruelty, is skeptical but intrigued. He's no friend to the clans, but he knows the Archive Den's dangers. "You're fools to come here," he says. But he agrees to guide them deeper, drawn by the faint hope of something more. Their search yields a chilling discovery. Project Dominance isn't just about conquest, it's about controlling unique traits like Elara's to create a super pack loyal only to Torin. The records hint at experiments, wolves forced into submission, their gifts twisted for power. Elara's blood runs cold. She's not just a target, she's the key to their endgame. But the runestone's glow betrays them. Its signal caught by a sentinel scanner. Alarms blare, and the cave trembles as Ironfang's scouts close in, their howls echoing through the tunnels. Gorham curses, leading them through a side passage, his knowledge of the wild saving them from immediate capture. They escape into the night, the records burned into Elara's mind, her confidence growing despite the danger. The roadhouse becomes their refuge again, but the air feels heavier now. Elara's internal struggle shifts. She's not just hiding from her power, she's beginning to see it as a tool to fight back. The Harmonizer Gene, once a source of fear, is a gift she's testing. Its subtle pulses strengthening Rorik and even Gorham in fleeting moments. Rorik, too, grapples with his solitary instincts, but Elara's vision of unity stirs his hope for a reborn Starclaw. Gorham, wary but loyal, represents the outcasts they might rally. The runestone, a symbol of legacy and risk, glows brighter, urging them toward Rogue Hollow, where others like Gorham wait. The Ironfang scouts are closer now, their pursuit relentless. Torrhen's ambition drives them, his hunger for Elara's power a fire that won't be quenched. The wilderness, with its freedom and danger, is a crucible for Elara and Rorik's partnership. They're bound not just by survival, but by a shared dream to challenge the Ironfang's tyranny and forge a new path. The moon hangs low, its light cutting through the fog, as Elara clutches the runestone, its warmth a promise and a warning. The fight is coming, and the wilderness will test whether they can turn legacy into rebellion or fall to the claws that hunt them.
The wilderness hums with a restless undercurrent, its fog curling like tendrils of doubt, as Elara Veyne and Rorik Draven roar into Rogue Hollow on his battered motorcycle. The ramshackle camp sprawls across a misty ravine, a patchwork of leaning tents and salvaged lean-tos, its fires flickering like wary eyes against the encroaching dusk. The air carries the sharp scent of pine and the faint musk of outcasts, hybrids, rogues, and exiles who've clawed survival from the Ironfang's ruthless dominion. Elara's runestone pendant glows erratically against her chest, its star-claw symbols a pulsing reminder of her mother's legacy, and the Harmonizer Gene that could unite them or tear them apart. Her rune tattoo prickles, its magic faltering under the strain of her half-human scent, while Rorik's gaze flickers with a shadow of secrecy, his earlier mention of a personal debt to the Starclaw, lingering like an unspoken threat. Gorham, the scarred rogue who joined them after the Archive Den raid, trails behind, his gruff silence masking a tension that gnaws at the edges of their fragile alliance. Rogue Hollow is a chaotic haven, its uneven paths winding through shelters built from wreckage, the ground soft with moss and mud. The outcasts gather, their faces a gallery of scars and hollowed eyes, their distrust palpable as they eye the newcomers. Elara dismounts, her legs unsteady, the runestone's warmth a strange comfort amid her growing unease. She steps into the clearing, the firelight casting her shadow long and wavering. "I'm one of you," she says, her voice trembling but resolute, pulling back her sleeve to reveal the tattoo, its glow dimming as her scent leaks through. The crowd murmurs, some stepping closer, drawn by curiosity, others shrinking back, memories of betrayal etched into their postures. She channels her Harmonizer Gene, a tentative pulse that ripples outward, sharpening their senses, sinking their breaths in a way that feels almost alive. A wiry hybrid lunges in a mock skirmish, his movements fluid with newfound speed, drawing gasps from the onlookers, a hook of potential that grips the audience. The rally gains momentum, Elara amplifying small groups in training bouts, their abilities soaring as they spar with makeshift weapons. A pair of rogues, their strikes once clumsy, move with eerie precision, their laughter cutting through the tension. The hook hits when Gorham pulls her aside, his voice a low growl. "This power? It's dangerous. I've seen what happens when it's pushed too far. Minds break, bodies fail." His words plant a seed of doubt, his scarred face twisting with a memory he won't share. Elara nods,
her confidence wavering. But the outcast's hope fuels her resolve. She pushes the gene harder, linking a trio in a synchronized dance of combat, their movements a testament to unity, until a young hybrid stumbles, his eyes glazing as the pulse overwhelms him, a scream tearing from his throat. The crowd freezes, the hook deepening. Her power can harm as much as heal. Elara's heart clenches, guilt flooding her like cold water, the boy's cries echoing her mother's whispers of warning. She rushes to him, her hands trembling, the runestone burning against her skin as if judging her hubris. The twist strikes like a storm. Gorham vanishes during a break, and minutes later, Iron Fang scouts burst into the hollow, their howls shattering the night. Gorham reappears, his betrayal a blade. The Iron Fang promised me revenge on the Starcloth survivors, he snarls, his grudge spilling out. Rorik's pack abandoned his family during their fall, a wound festering for years, his voice cracking with raw pain and eyes filled with tears of rage and sorrow. The outcasts scatter, panic igniting as claws clash. Elara's heart pounds, her world tilting. Gorham, the one she'd begun to trust, now a dagger in her back. Tears sting her eyes, betrayal a physical ache as she surges her gene in desperation. She experiments, forcing a mental bond to reveal Gorham's pain, the pulse a wild, untested leap that tears at her soul. It works. His mind opens, showing his conflict, the abandonment replaying in vivid agony, turning him mid-fight, his loyalty fracturing but real, his roar of regret mixing with the battle cries. But the cost is brutal. The young hybrid, already strained, collapses, his body seizing, his life fading as the overload consumes him. Elara cradles him, sobs racking her body, his final breath a whisper of accusation that pierces her heart. The skirmish ends with scouts repelled, Gorham kneeling in guilt, his hands bloodied, his face a mask of devastation. "I didn't mean the boy," he chokes, tears carving paths through his scars, the weight of his betrayal crushing him. Rorik confronts Elara, his voice tight with his own suppressed emotions. "I joined for revenge on Torin. My family died by his hand. The runestone, I thought it could fuel a ritual to end him." His debt cracks open, a personal vendetta clashing with their cause, his eyes filling with unshed tears as he admits the pain driving him, a vulnerability that humanizes his secrecy. But the hook lingers. Seeing the boy's death, it changes things, forging a bond through shared grief. Gorham, redeemed but broken, swears allegiance, his voice trembling, his loyalty now forged in fire and loss, his embrace of Elara a silent apology laden with sorrow. The hollow's fires burn low, whispers of doubt spreading among the outcasts. Some blame Elara, their anger a storm of grief. Others fear her power, their eyes haunted by the boy's still form. She tests it cautiously, the hybrid's death a warning that claws at her soul, her internal struggle peaking. Is unity worth this blood? Guilt wraps around her like chains, the runestones glow a mocking light, her mother's legacy a burden she fears she'll break. Torin's spies lurk, their reports stoking his ambition, the wilderness humming with danger as Elara grapples with her gene's dark edge, her tears falling in the night, the audience hooked by the emotional rawness, the uncertainty of what price they'll pay next. Rorik comforts her, his touch tentative, his own grief mingling with hers, a spark of connection amid the despair. Gorham stands guard, his silence heavy with regret, the three bound by tragedy, their alliance a fragile flame in the encroaching darkness.
The archive den looms like a predator's maw, its damp stone walls glistening with moisture as Elara, Rorik, and Gorham slip through its shadowed tunnels. The air is thick with the scent of earth and betrayal, the echo of Gorham's recent double-cross in Rogue Hollow still ringing in their ears. Forgiven, but the trust is a fragile thread, each glance laden with unspoken accusations and regrets. Elara's runestone pulses erratically, its glow casting eerie patterns on the cave walls, a reminder of the young hybrid's death and the Harmonizer Gene's unstable power. Her tattoo stings, its magic fraying under her half-human scent, while Rorik's steps carry a tension he won't voice, his personal debt to Starclaw, a shadow deepening with each step, his face etched with a guilt that tugs at Elara's heart. Gorham, bandaged from his self-inflicted wound during their last escape, moves silently, his guilt a silent companion, his eyes avoiding theirs, the weight of his betrayal a constant ache in his chest. The cave's interior is a labyrinth of flickering screens and ancient carvings, the hum of servers blending with the distant drip of water. They dodge traps, pressure plates that trigger stonefalls, laser grids that hum with menace. Rorik's agility and Gorham's wild knowledge guiding them, their movements a tense dance of dependence. Elara's gene pulses subtly, syncing their steps, but its instability gnaws at her. Can she trust it after the Hollow's tragedy? After the boy's screams that haunt her dreams? They reach a central chamber, its terminal glowing with encrypted files. Rorik hacks in, his fingers swift but trembling, revealing Project Dominant's depths. Experiments on wolves, their traits twisted into obedience, Elara's gene marked as the pinnacle. Her stomach churns, tears pricking her eyes, as she imagines the pain inflicted, the weight of being a target sinking in like a stone in her chest. The twist hooks deep, mid-heist. Rorik freezes over a file, his breath catching, his face paling as if seeing a ghost. "This is it," he mutters, but his hand shakes. The record details Torrhen's slaughter of his family, feeling a revenge ritual needing the runestone's power. Elara confronts him, her voice cracking with hurt. "You're using me." The revelation a knife twist that brings tears to her eyes, hooking the audience with the fracture of their bond. Gorham steps between them, his own betrayal fresh, his voice a growl laced with sorrow. "Enough, Rorik. Choose us or your ghost." The runestone flares, its signal spiking, alerting sentinels. Capture is swift, chains biting as Torrhen's elite drag them to a stone cell, its air cold with despair, Elara's sobs echoing softly, the pain of Rorik's secret a fresh wound in her heart. Torrhen's voice slithers through a speaker, his charisma a venomous lure. "Your power's chaos, Elara. Join me or watch it consume your friends." In the cell, Elara's gene surges in desperation, amplifying Rorik and Gorham, but the instability strikes. Gorham's mind fractures under the bond, flashbacks of his family's abandonment flooding him. His claws lash out, carving a gash across his own arm, blood pooling on the stone, his cry of agony mixing with Elara's horrified gasp. The escape is frantic, Elara's pulses sinking their flight through collapsing tunnels, traps snapping behind them. Gorham's wound festers, his strength waning, a tragic cost that deepens the hook. Her power saves, but at a shattering price. Tears streaming down Elara's face as she supports him, guilt and love warring within her. They stumble into the wilderness, Torrhen's hunters closing in, their howls a relentless chorus that chills Elara to her core. Her internal turmoil peaks, her gene's dark side mirrors the runestone's betrayal, forcing her to question if unity is illusion, her heart breaking with each of Gorham's labored breaths. Rorik, guilt etching his face, confesses fully, "I wanted Torrhen dead, but you're more than my revenge." His voice breaking, tears in his eyes, as he admits his love for her, a vulnerable moment that tugs at the audience's heartstrings. Gorham, weakened but loyal, urges them on, his pain a symbol of the story's moral gray, his hand clasping Elara's in a gesture of forgiveness that brings fresh sobs from her throat. The stronghold looms ahead, but the alliance hangs by a thread, the audience gripped by the emotional rawness, the uncertainty. Will their fractures doom them, or will the gene's instability seal their fate? The fog thickens, the night deepening, Elara's tears mingling with the dew, her soul aching with the weight of it all. The archive den cell is a tomb of cold stone, its single bulb flickering like a dying hope, as Elara Veyne sits chained, her Harmonizer Gene simmering with unstable energy after Gorham's injury. Rorik paces, his leather jacket torn, his confession of revenge still raw, his eyes filled with a storm of guilt and love that he dares not voice fully. Gorham, bandaged and fading, slumps against the wall, his loyalty tested by the gene's toll, his breaths labored, each one a dagger in Elara's heart. The air reeks of iron and despair, Torin's taunts echoing from a speaker. "Your power's chaos, Elara. Join me, or Rogue Hollow burns." The wilderness beyond waits, its fog a shroud over their fragile alliance, the moon a silent judge, its light filtering through cracks like a mocking promise. Elara's heart pounds, her internal struggle a tempest, fear of her gene's destructive edge warring with the desperate need to save her friends, tears welling as she thinks of the boy's death, of Rorik's betrayal, of Gorham's pain. She closes her eyes, reaching for the power, letting it flow like a flood, her voice a whisper. "For us." A pulse ripples out, amplifying Rorik and Gorham, their chains creaking as muscles tense. But the instability strikes. Rorik's mind floods with vengeance visions, turning him feral. His claws rake at Gorham, drawing blood before he regains control. His eyes wild with guilt, tears streaming as he gasps, "I'm sorry. I love you both." They burst free, the cell door shattering under their enhanced strength, rogue reinforcements from Rogue Hollow bursting in, drawn by the runestone's signal. But the gene's surge claims a casualty. An outcast ally, caught in the pulse, collapses, his body convulsing, his life snuffed out by the overload. A hooking gut punch that questions Elara's savior role, her scream of anguish echoing through the tunnels. The escape is a whirlwind of chaos, Elara's pulses sinking the group through the den's collapsing tunnels, traps snapping like jaws, her tears blinding her as she pushes on, guilt a heavy chain around her soul. The wilderness greets them with cold air, but the pursuit is relentless. Iron Thing scouts howl, their numbers swelling, each cry a reminder of the lives lost to her power. The rogues fight back, Elara amplifying their strength, but the gene's instability spirals. Some turn berserk, clawing at allies in a frenzy, their minds lost to the power's edge. Elara's heart breaking as she watches friends turn on each other, her sobs mixing with the battle cries. The stronghold looms, the moon rising, its light a cruel spotlight on their fractured unity. Elara's voice breaking as she urges them on, for Rorik, for the boy, for us all. The confrontation erupts in the courtyard, Elara's pulses binding the rogues into a lethal force, overwhelming Torin's pack. She exposes Project Dominance with the stolen data, rival clan scouts watching from the shadows, their allegiances shifting, but the victory sours. The gene's overload peaks, berserk rogues kill innocents, their howls a tragic chorus amid the clash, Elara's horror mounting as she sees the destruction she's wrought, tears flowing freely. Torin fights with desperate fury, his charisma a fading flame, but Rorik shields Elara, taking a fatal strike, a claw through his chest. He collapses, blood pooling, his eyes locking with hers. "Finish it," he gasps, his voice a plea filled with love, his hand reaching for hers as life fades, tears in his eyes. Elara's resolve shatters, her screams of grief rending the night, her power a curse that hooks the audience with its irony. Unity breeds destruction. Gorham, surviving but broken, drags her from the fray, his own tears falling, the stronghold falling in Pyrrhic ruin, its totems silent witnesses to the loss, the data drive a hollow trophy amid the blood. The wilderness swallows their retreat, the rogues scattered, some feral, others grieving. Elara's sobs a constant undercurrent as she cradles Rorik's memory, guilt consuming her like fire. Her internal arc twists, her leadership, once a beacon, now a source of guilt, her love for Rorik a wound that bleeds endlessly. The gene's instability, a mirror to the runestone's betrayal, forces her to face its cost, her heart aching with the lives lost. Torin's exile is a hollow victory, his pack broken, but the clans wary of her power, their retreat a flight from the monster she fears she's become. The hook lingers. Can she harness this force, or will it consume all she loves? The fog thickens, the night deepening, Elara's tears mingling with the dew, her soul aching with the weight of it all, the audience gripped by the emotional devastation, the promise of a tragic ending.
The Iron Fang stronghold lies in shattered silence under a blood-red dawn, its spires cracked, the fog a heavy shroud over the courtyard's carnage. Torin Varkas is led away in chains, his exile a bitter end to his ambitions, rival clans' scouts demanding justice for Project Dominance's exposed horrors. But victory is a hollow shell. Elara Veyne stands amid the ruin, her runestone pendant trembling in her hand, its glow dimming as the Harmonizer Gene's backlash reverberates through her body and soul. Rorik's body lies still, his blood staining the stone, his last words, "It was worth it, for you," echoing in her ears, a dagger of grief that twists with every breath. Gorham, scarred deeper, kneels beside him, his loyalty a silent vigil, his eyes hollow with grief, tears carving paths down his face as he whispers farewells to the man who became his brother. Rogue Hollow, meant to rise as a beacon, fractures under the Gene's aftermath. The overamplification turned allies feral, their minds shattered, leading to infighting that claims more lives, the screams of the dying a symphony of Elara's failure. The outcasts, once united, now blame Elara, their anger a storm of grief and accusation, their eyes filled with the pain of lost loved ones, tears and howls mingling in the night. Rival clans withdraw, their emissaries retreating with wary glances, fearing her power's instability. Whispers spread of a hybrid curse, not a gift, each word a nail in Elara's heart. She wanders the hollow's paths, her steps heavy, the runestone's warmth fading, a symbol of a legacy she can't fulfill without breaking more souls, her tears falling freely as guilt consumes her, a relentless tide. The council, once a vision of equality, dissolves as outcasts scatter, their shelters abandoned, fires reduced to embers, the air thick with the scent of smoke and sorrow. Gorham tries to rally the remnants, his voice rough with loss. "She gave us a chance, don't let it die." But his own tears betray him, his hands trembling as he buries the dead, each grave a testament to their shattered dream. Elara realizes the Gene's instability is terminal. Each pulse risks more destruction, a mirror to the runestone's betrayal. Her heart aching with the lives lost, the boy's face haunting her, Rorik's dying gaze a constant torment. She gathers the surviving rogues, her voice breaking with sobs. "I can't control this. It's killing us." Her confession a floodgate, tears streaming as she admits her fear, her love for them a pain that rips at her soul. In a tragic act of sacrifice, Elara resolves to end the threat, her decision a whirlwind of emotion, guilt, love, despair. She stands in the clearing, the runestone glowing one last time, its star-class symbols a fading echo of her mother's dream, tears blurring her vision as she clutches it. Unity was the hope, she murmurs to Gorham, her voice choked with sobs. But dreams break when they cost too much. He reaches for her, his own tears falling. "Don't! We need you!" His plea a heartbroken whisper, his hand grasping hers in desperation. But she channels the Harmonizer Gene in a massive overload, not to amplify, but to neutralize. Her body a conduit, the pulse a wave that shatters the runestone and her life force, pain ripping through her as she screams, her final thoughts of Rorik's smile, Gorham's loyalty, the boy's innocence. The energy disperses, healing the feral rogues, their minds clearing as they collapse, weeping, their gratitude a bittersweet chorus amid her fading light. The hollow survives as a tragic remnant, Gorham leading a small group, honoring Elara's memory with cautious steps towards equality, his heart heavy with grief, tears shed in quiet moments. The wilderness reclaims the stronghold, its fog hiding the scars, but no new coalition rises. Only echoes of what could have been, the outcasts forever changed by loss. The moon sets, its light a mournful farewell, as Rogue Hollow stands as a testament to a dream lost to love and loss. Gorham's final howl, a lament for Elara, the unifier who gave everything, leaving him with tears and a lingering sorrow.